But, ladies and gentlemen, what I like about this gentleman, man, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's an author. He's a motivational speaker. I mean, the guy owns quite a few different businesses. He made his first 20. I mean, made his first million in his 20s, ladies and gentlemen. That is powerful. And now I'm gonna tell you, this guy know this product, know the fintech space inside out. But I can tell you, man, the good part about it, he knows how to explain it. He's very patient when he's explaining it. So this is a moment where all you guys need to have everybody on the line when it comes to fintech Tuesday, because this product is very, very serious, ladies and gentlemen. Money is on sale right now, right? So why not take advantage of it? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna get myself out the way and introduce you and let Mr. Adrian Dynamite Sloan take the floor. Mr. Sloan, the floor is yours, sir. I can't hear you if you're talking. Still can't hear you. Yep, whatever you just hit, I heard something.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, it'd be good to turn the mic on.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir. The floor is yours.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mickle, man. God, drop some fire in the chat, man. If you're pumped up, excited, ready to go, welcome to another episode, man, of FinTech Tuesday, man. We got a lot to talk about today, guys. We got a lot to talk about. Man, guys, I couldn't wait to get on this call today. Man, make sure you in Philly. Let me put that out there. Well, Mr. Mickle just said, guys, make sure you in Philly. Man, we got some exciting things to launch out to you. I can tell you today, but I won't. I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you, if you ain't there, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna get secondhand information, and they're gonna miss some stuff. They ain't gonna tell it all to you. They're gonna try to re-explain it, and it ain't gonna come out right the same. We got special guests that's flying in that's gonna be there. I'm gonna tell you that. And so you don't want to miss what's going to be rolled out in Philadelphia. It's going to be a great enhancement to our fintech, guys. So you got to make sure you're in Philly. Like you just got to make sure you're there, right? Our fintech product is growing. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited for what we're doing. Extreme FX Global Academy will have a massive footprint in this nation, in this country, in this world. You could stamp it, you could write it down, put it on the wall, you can engrave it inside the cement. We will have a massive footprint in financial services. We will have a massive input in a lot of people's lives across the world, because we're going to stay innovative. We're going to stay on the edge. We're going to stay on the competitive edge of what's going on in the technology space and how it relates to money. See, what you got to understand is that money is always changing. It's always changing, right? The economy is always changing. And so you can't be stuck on old indoctrinated pathways. That's, technology, the era that we live in has enhanced and grew a lot of different things, right? So if you got a one-track mind, it relates to just money or how you want to do business, you're going to get left behind, right? I'm just going to tell you straight up, you're going to get left behind, because the world as we living in is evolving. True or not true? Can you put true in the chat if you agree with that? The world that we living in today is changing. The housing industry is going through some massive transitions right now. The interest rates in the country is going through a massive shift right now. The decisions they making in Washington, D.C. is affecting everybody, right? Look at inflation right now. Everything is up, right? Everything is up. Everything is costing more, right? Everything is costing more. And so you can't be in your track mind of just what you think is going to be a good decision to make for your life. Can I make it plain for you? You can't listen to you right now. You can't listen to you, right? Because unless your ears to the ground of what you see is going on in the country, you could potentially, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, you could potentially make a bad financial decision right now if you invest in large lump sums of money in places that's dealing with, the market, and you don't know the market, you don't understand exactly the precision of the timing of right now, you can make some bad decisions, right? And so I'm grateful that we keep our ear to the ground and we understand the market, right? And how to adjust what's going on in the housing market, what's going on in the stock market, what's going on in the economy, because we live in this ecosystem. Whether you agree with all the decisions or not, you have to govern yourself accordingly, because certain things you can't control. So what we want to make sure is that here in our company, guys, that we want to make sure we give the community the updated information, what's going on, so you can position yourself to make great financial decisions, man. If you're excited about that, being in a place that you're working with a company that's want to make sure that you're making good decisions, man, put a 1 in the chat, man. If you are excited about that, if you're grateful for that, that we are open enough to share, right? To share, right? To make sure you're making good decisions, because everybody's life may be busy and you may not have an opportunity to be engaged in the financial markets the way, you know, you may want to be. You want to make good decisions, but it might go over your head. You might be intimidated by that. But one thing I've learned about business is having great partnerships is key, and having great relationships, right? And we connected to some connections that's connected to some connections. And guys, we in this space. And so we have a company that we love making sure our people go to the next level. So on today, right, for FinTech Tuesday, so that's my disclaimer for you to get to Philly real quick. I ain't telling you nothing other than that, but book your ticket. Like right now, you need to be going on the site, on the Eventbrite, and booking your ticket. Ain't no other event going on in Extreme. You know, what's going on is the one in going on in Atlanta, and what's going on in Philly. Those are the two Extreme events that's coming up. And whatever marketplace you in, you need to get to Atlanta, make sure you pack out that meeting. If you traveling, you coming in, you better be booking your behind to Philadelphia, because these are our two events that we have that's coming on, and you want to make sure you're in the place, because we growing, right? So put some fire in the chat if you can feel the momentum in the company that we growing, and you're enjoying the growth, right? If you're enjoying this journey, man, let me just see some fire in the chat before I get you guys this information. I'm energy based, y'all. Y'all know I like to participate. Like I want the energy. I need to feel you, right? I need to feel you out there and make sure we doing what we need to be doing, but we're growing. I want to know if you're excited about the feeling of the growth, because there's only two ways in life. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Either you're growing or you're dying. That's it. There's no in between. There's no such thing as maintaining. No, when a person say they maintaining to me, woo, let me ask you a question. If you plant a seed right now, does it grow or do it die? It only go one or two ways. I never seen the flower maintain. You know what I'm saying? I never seen a tree just maintain. Everything goes two directions. In growth, either grows or it dies. So everything has a cycle where it has to go up, and eventually it looks the same, right? But it starts to decrease slowly. So we want to be in a position, guys, where we stay on the growth side, right? And we continue to evolve and be able to get all the essence that we got going on right now. Either we growing or we dying. There's no maintaining in business. There's no maintaining in life. You always got to make sure you go to the next level. So on our last call, we talked about personal credit, right? We talked about personal credit. Man, I had a good time. We did some role playing. We went through some role plays of what's going on. And we had a couple of people, Ms. Leah Anderson, you know, she represented the West Coast. Then we had another young lady out of Boston, Massachusetts. I can't remember her name right off. She's a new member, but she actually role played the presentation, right, of the personal credit, right? Put her name in the chat if you guys can remember Ms. Leah Anderson, who that was, or she may be on the call. But she actually role played. We went through how to actually do the presentation from the personal credit. I did it the first time, and then they came back and they did it. And I'm excited for that. And as I promised, right, because we're going to go through business credit next. So today we're actually going to go through business credit. So you want to get your pen and pad. Let's make sure we take some notes. And I'm going to give you guys a link, first of all, because I'm actually going to share my screen. And I pulled up a Forbes article on business credit, right? And so I'm going to show you... I'm going to show you this article for just a second, right? Then I'm actually going to go back to our presentation slide, and I'm going to show you the presentation, right? And you're going to see how parallel this is of how much our company is in alignment with what's going on in the economy, right? Of how this is just not extreme information, or this is just not like Dynamite Sloan just making some stuff up and he just telling you. I'm just a messenger of over 20 years in this industry who's bringing my knowledge and my experience, and I'm sharing it with you, right? I'm sharing it with you. So that's what we're actually doing. So we're going to actually pull up this article. I want you guys to be able to see this information. I want you guys to be able to see this information. And then once I share this information with you, from here, we want to be in a position to go through these cycles of clarity. Hold on, like my internet disconnected for a second. All right, Dr. Benjamin, can you hear me okay? Am I still coming through? All right,
Yes, you are, sir. Yes, you are.
It said unstable on the screen. I just want to make sure. All right, cool. So let me share the screen. So you guys can copy that link, right? You can copy that link for just a second. And let me share my screen and let's read it. Let's talk about it. It's all about information. All right. So if you actually hit the link, then this is what you're going to see, right? It's a Forbes article, and I'm not going to tell you who wrote the article yet. All right, but this is a Forbes article from a CEO, right? And they talked about the power of business credit, right? And let's just talk about this. I'm gonna read some of this to you, but you can read it on your own. But I just want to open it up of how this actually works. Why is business credit so important? And this is what I Googled and researched to be able to get a good Forbes article, a credible source that talks about business as a broad, right? So it says, like small business owners across the country, right? Like so many small business across the country, when someone starts a company, they often do what they have access. They often do not have access to large sums of money or interest in seeking seed capital. They don't want an investor, but they don't have access, to a large, any large lump sums either. So they go in person, right? So naturally, the most common way of a new entrepreneur to start their company is by using their savings and applying for personal loans or credit cards. Pause, right? Put a one in the chat if you ever been there, right? If you've ever been in that position, when you want to start a business, let's keep it relative, but you don't have a whole lot of capital, right? But you're gonna use your personal information. I believe in honesty, right? Let's be honest. I want to see how many in the chat is gonna be honest. You've been there. Can you relate to this so far? You don't want seed capital, so you don't want to give up equity of your business to be able to get some capital to get started, right? You don't want to give up any equity. You want to maintain 100% ownership, but you don't have access to a large lump sum either. But you're gonna use your personal savings, right? That's how it goes, right? My initial entrepreneur endeavors included the same path, but I understood if I wanted to separate myself from the competition, I needed more resources, as we all do, to ramp up my infrastructure and marketing efforts to search for my customers, right? What I found out very early was that if you over leverage your personal credit, now listen to this, your personal credit profile by obtaining several loans or maxing out your personal credit cards to fund your business, your personal life can be affected very quickly. Have you guys ever been there, right? You want to grow your business, but you're using your personal credit cards, which we know you got to stay below 30%, and you can tie up your money in your business, and now your credit score goes down. So now your buying power has shrunk, all right? It could be affected very quickly due to the negative impact of personal credit score. For example, if you need to apply for several credit cards to cover business expenses, you can rack up credit inquiries, right? Which to account for 10% of your personal credit score. Pause. This is why you're supposed to keep your inquiries on your personal credit below 3, right? You don't want to be below 3. Once you get from 3 to 6, it doesn't look good, right? When you go 6 and above, you consider high risk at that point. So what this article is saying is most people who start a small business, when they're using their personal credit, right, they use their personal side, but then they apply for so many cards and trying to get access to capital the best way that they can, which I applaud the effort, but this is the impact if you don't have the knowledge of how to go down this journey. They use their personal credit, they get too many credit inquiries, and then they score drop. And inquiries is 10% of the credit mix. You have, your utilization, right? You have your history is a part of it. You have your credit mixture is a part of it. You have your inquiry as a part of it, just like a test score. When you look at a test score, when you look at a syllabus, and they give you, okay, to get a A in this class at 100%, 50% is projects, 35% is test scores, 15% is homework, 10% is class scores, right? This is what this is explaining to us, that every part of the credit algorithm has a percentage that's attached to it of how it impacts your overall credit score. Does that make sense? Did you guys get that? Put make sense in the chat if that makes sense to you. So you gotta understand the algorithm of personal credit to understand why you don't want to over leverage your personal credit to do a business transaction, because it's going to impact you. And this is why our gateway product is personal credit. Let's get that in position. And then you want to leverage your personal credit to do everything in the name of business moving forward. Understand that 10% is key of your personal credit, right? Having more than 6 inquiries under 6 months has a very negative impact on your credit score. This is why this is so important. And I'm gonna scroll down in here just for a second. Let me show you these next couple of paragraphs, because this is all going to be relative to you for just a second. If you get close to maxing out your personal credit cards, or even if your business purposes, your personal credit score is also affected. This is because when your credit card balances surpass 30% of your credit limits, then we talked about that, right? Your credit score can go down. The higher the percentage of credit utilization, the lower your credit score will be. Again, in that credit mix, utilization is a big part of it. It's going to go down. When I figure out that my actual credit card limits were really only 30%, we went over that in class last week. If you got a $10,000 credit limit, you really only 10,000 access to credit. You really only have $3,000. Personal credit, you have to stay below 30% to be able to keep your credit algorithm in position. If you go over 30%, you're considered an overspender, and your credit score goes down, which limits your credit worthiness to a lender, right? He said, when you really only have access to 30% of what I got approved for to maintain decent credit score. I then understood that my opportunity to expand my resources and marketing efforts were also limited severely. Not to mention, acquiring new accounts can offer another 10% of your personal score, right? Now, look at these scores. Imagine having a credit score. Now, let me go up here. Let me read this paragraph. If you are not able to strategically position your purchase and credit, this means your personal credit score could be impacted negatively up to 50%. That's more than 400 points. Imagine having a credit score of 785, and after starting your business, your credit score is down to 515 a year later. As a CEO of a company that helps business owners build their credit score, I see this a lot. Why? Because these business owners did not understand the power of business credit. Ladies and gentlemen, we could drop the mic right there. I just had to open this up with this to give you a credible source of why this is important, because most business owners do not slow down enough to learn the power of business credit. So they rush into business because they're ambitious. And I feel like ambition is dangerous, because too much ambition, you are blinded by strategical matters. It's no strategy in ambition. Typically, it's just talent. It's just, I'm excited. I got the best product. I got the best service. And most entrepreneurs fail because of ambition. Write this down and mark my word. Most entrepreneurs fail because they're overzealous, and over ambitions, what leads to a blindness of good decisions. Hello. They're blinded by the arrogance and the immaturity of understanding that if you're going to be great in business, you have to get business mentors, and you have to have people around you that's done it already, so you don't put your foot in a place that you can't get your foot out of. That's bad business. Over ambitions is dangerous. Getting good mentors and good leaders around you to help you understand how to be in business successfully and for a long term is a humble and more profitable way to go in business. So if you don't have a business mentor, I highly recommend you to get one, because those who've already went before you can help you save some time. Does that make sense? I was blessed to learn from several successful mentors. He put in the article. They taught me that there is power in having business credit, right? So we're going to stop right here of what is business credit, and we're going to get inside of our mind. I think you guys got the point, and I'm going to tell you who actually wrote this article, right? Business credit is a credit profile for your business name that you establish separately from personal credit. So you have your business credit, Dun & Bradstreet, EIN number. You got this. This is an entity, right? A business is an entity. The United States of America is not a country. It's a corporation. The United States of America is a business. Hello. It's an entity. It's a corporation. You have a sole proprietorship. You have a LLC, right? You have a S corp. You have a C corp, right? These are corporations. It's United States of America Corporation. This country is a company. So this country has business credit. It has business credit, right? It's a corporation. So how can you live in a country that's a company and you don't have a company? Hello. It doesn't make sense, because everything done in the name of business is totally different from a business is treated totally different from a person. An entity and an individual are two different things. So when you're building your business credit, you can't do business as a person. I hope it is making sense for you guys. I really want to drill this home. So we got the right psychology of what are we really talking about? We're not talking about just a service. I need you to have an understanding of how this really works and why it's important, why it's imperative. If you're in Extreme right now and you're getting a 1099, right? You have a company. You need to make sure everything is done in your corporation for your write-offs, for your taxes, for your growth, for your leverage of your income. You can leverage everything in your business and establish great business credit and credibility by being, an expansion marketer with Extreme. You have a corporation. Let's make sure we keep a good understanding, ladies and gentlemen, right? Keep it separate from your personal credit profile. If you're able to effectively establish a business credit profile, you are able to reduce the financial pressure on your personal credit profile and your personal finances. You don't hurt your own household, right? By doing this, it's free for you. It frees you up from additional opportunities personally and helps you maintain the best interest rates on personal loans, insurance premiums, right? And credit related activities. So how do you start building a healthy business credit profile? There are a few steps to complete in order to be getting approved for credit and capital strictly in the business name. But first, you need to set the foundations for doing so. So we're going to stop right there, right? Now, this is an amazing article. I want you guys to read it. And one of the things the gentleman said, that you have to have great mentors. And I just pulled this article up when I Googled Forbes and I wanted a good Forbes article. And I read this article. I said, man, this is so profound. This is the good stuff that I was needing. And so when I read the whole article and I went down, I just said, God, I thank you. I'm grateful that I've been humble enough in my life to always seek good mentors, and the universe has always brought good people to me in my circle who saw something in me that was able to grow me up mentally. I didn't learn all this stuff on my own. Good people have been gravitated to me, and I've been humble enough to listen. And when I looked at who wrote the article was my mentor, Mr. Rico McCambry. Mr. Rico McCambry actually came to Extreme event. Guys, put some fire in the chat. This was the gentleman that was at our national convention, right? Many of you guys might have took pictures with him. You might have saw him when we introduced our fintech opportunity. This was the guy that was on stage speaking to Extreme about the rollout that we was doing to bring fintech into Extreme FX Global Academy. Guys, man, put some fire in the chat for that. Again, great relationships, great information, right? That's all being delivered to our community for some of the nation's best of the best. This gentleman was in our midst. And he's one of my personal mentors, has been one of my personal mentors for over 2 years as we was developing our fintech product. And this is the gentleman who wrote the article for Forbes, one of the most credible sources in financial services in the country when you talk about business. And he's a personal mentor of Extreme FX. He helps the founders all the time. He pours into us. He's been mentoring us as a company for 2 years. And it was the gentleman who actually wrote this article, guys. So I'm super excited about that. But that was just a little something I want to share with you, because this is how our business model is set up. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. If you got some value out of seeing that article, you just put value in the chat, guys. If you actually got some value out of understanding that, I want you guys not just to be good affiliates, right, to be able to sell the product. I want you to be knowledgeable people about how this stuff really works in real life, because once you really understand it, to communicate it to a person is second nature. It's no guesswork, because it's not about do they believe you or not. These are principles of finance. This is just how this stuff works. You got to separate your personal from your business. This is a reality. The credit algorithm is not about race, nationality, creed, religion. It has nothing to do with any of that. This is a universal knowledge that once you understand it, you actually have leverage to get access to the same wealth of everybody else in the country. Do you realize most millionaires are self-made? They're self-made. So it wasn't just coming out of a high prestige family. It just wasn't coming out of, a woman who got married to a rich man and then they got divorced and then she got a bunch of money from him. Now she's a millionaire, or a kid that came up in a rich family and then his family just rolled down some inheritance, or it wasn't just life insurance. Somebody died and they passed on life. That's not how people became self-made millionaires. People became self-made millionaires by respecting the game of money. So when you learn the rules of the game, you can play the game accordingly. Does that make sense? So it's no excuses about what you don't know. It's all about how intentional are you about knowing? Because if you're intentional about knowing, you're going to learn the game. And this is where you become a self-made millionaire. I made my first million in my 20s by being around mentors, such as Mr. McCamey. I've had those level of mentors my entire life since I was 17. And so because I was a young man that was fired up, excited, and wanted to learn, and I was blessed to be around people who taught. And so once people start teaching, you have to start listening, and you have to start writing, and then you have to start executing. So as I go through this next part of what I want to share with you guys today, I want you guys to keep this in mind. A big part of your success and your failure is your ability to execute or procrastinate. This is a big part because there's a lot of people who know a lot of stuff, but there's also more failures in the world than they are successful people. It's a small percentage of people that are successful. It's a larger growth of people who never make 6 figures or 7 figures, who have a low credit score. It's a larger percentage. Why? It's not the did I know, it's who executed, right? So I want you guys to put execute in the chat, right? I want you to affirm this with me, that you're going to execute this knowledge that you're learning, and you're going to be able to apply it real time, because that's going to be the difference between you building business credit from you building wealth and finance, is when you take this information that Dynamite is giving you, and then you actually execute it and put it into real time. And then even things that I didn't teach you or things that I didn't share with you, you're going to start learning, because that's how the universe works. The universe activates on action, not just thoughts. You can think about it and try to manifest it in your mind and your spirit, but you actually got to take action. That the results come from the actions, not the thoughts, right? So I want to share this with you guys real quick. This is our presentation, right? And as we go through business credit right here, I'm going to pull up this slide. Now, everyone has access to this information, right? Everyone has access to this information on our website. But inside of our business credit product, you need to understand the same thing we was talking about in that article is in our presentation, right? And thank you for everybody who's been showing up for the FinTech Opportunity too. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 o'clock. That's ongoing, guys. It's in the back office. You guys have been showing up, but keep that a part of your regimen. If the information that we're sharing, you feel like it's valuable, you want to get people to be able to hear me present the information and help me close some of your people, make sure you get them on my call at 4 o'clock on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. The flyer is already out there, but don't even think about it if it's not going to be there. Just make sure you promote and show up. It's going to be there at 4 o'clock. This is what we go through in the presentation. I want you to see it if you haven't seen it, right? 46% of people use their personal credit, right? We talk about the personal restoration and the education business credit and the $50,000 guarantee. Now, in our $50,000 funding guarantee of the business credit product, this is what this is referring to. What this is referring to is that it's tiers of credit, right? One of the first tiers of building business credibility is vendor credit. Someone actually has to take a risk on you as a business. They say, I'm gonna give you 10,000, I'm gonna give you 5,000, I'm gonna give you 3,000 line of credit. Now, this could be something as significant as Sam's Club. It could be a gas card with what's some of the few companies, Pilot, right? It could be different companies that have access to stationary goods, right? It may be Uline, right? These are all vendors and merchants that have relationships with the business credit bureaus, right? So you have Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion for personal credit. But then on the business side, you got Experian Business. You have Dun & Bradstreet, right? Which you get something called a Paydex score. On personal scores, you have a FICO, right? On business credit, you have a Paydex score. So this is why you don't want to over leverage your personal. You want to leverage this one over here, right? So you want to get a Paydex score. This $50,000 funding guarantee that's put out here is that we guarantee that we'll help our clients that come through our process get $50,000 of guarantee of companies like those vendors of the pilots and BJs and the electronic companies, collectively at least $50,000 that they have on a business profile to report to Dun & Bradstreet. Does that make sense? Now, what does it do for the client? Well, the client may say, well, that's good, but I can't go to the bank. Limited understanding. You can, but this is a process, right? So once we get our clients through that tier 1, tier 2 type of leverage of funding, because this is funding, it's somebody giving you $3,000 and $5,000 of access. Put access in the chat. The key to this is that businesses have to get access to capital, right? They have to get access. When it shows up on a business credit report, now that they have access to the capital and they buy some stationary goods on a net 30 account. These are called net 30s because you have 30 days netted to pay back. So on the first, you got a $3,000 line of credit. The customer, spends $500 of stationary goods. Then they have 30 days to the first of, once they get billed, they have 30 days from that billing process to pay that money back. Does that make sense? This is a net 30. So what the person does is when they pay the $500 that they borrowed off of their line of credit, now what happens of it is it's going to report to Dun & Bradstreet, hey, listen, they borrowed 500, they paid it back. You do that 3 months in a row with all your lines of credit. Now you have activity, which is a part of the algorithm of credit. You have good positive reporting activity that shows that you're a credible buyer. You have $50,000 of leverage. You borrowed some off of it. You paid it back 3 months in a row. Your payback score now is increased. Now, when you go to the next tier of funding, when you go to an institution, when you start getting credit cards, right? Business credit cards, when you start getting business loans, a bank never wants to be the first person that ever took a risk on you. Does that make sense? Banks don't want to be the first person. They want to lend it to you, but they want to look at your history. So this is why you don't want to skip this phase, because this phase is valuable when you go to the next phase. Now, when you go get a $20,000 credit card and they see how you did the $3,000 with the line of credit, they feel better. Hey, they borrowed, they paid it back. So now you can get the business credit cards. Now you can get the business term loans. You can get the business lines of credit, which is what everybody desire is, right? So I need you guys to understand when you're communicating this to your customers of that, why that is so important. Don't skip that. Make sure you thoroughly explain that, right? Because now they can appreciate that they're building credibility for their company, and a payback score is going to have good reporting history on it. So now they're going to have the leverage that's necessary to actually go to the bank and actually get the money that they need. If that makes sense, make sense in the chat. If you ask you guys, if that makes sense to you, right, make sure you put make sense in the chat, right? Let's confirm to make sure we're on the same page, right? This is over $11,000 in value. That first step to me is one of the most crucial pieces, right? The second thing is inside this package, 1 year complimentary personal credit. Any extreme product. If you have a client who wants to work on their personal credit, they can just enroll for business credit. If they say, I want to do my personal and my business, just enroll them into the business. And why is that? Because a personal credit is actually given complimentary inside of the business credit, because we understand that we have to use their personal profile to be the personal guarantor to sign for the company a lot of times. And companies actually pull a soft pull on the credit, which means no inquiry. They do a soft pull. They look at the credit report to make sure it's all good to go on the person, before they fund the business. So that's complimentary put in there. So make sure you understand that. They have the business credit suite, which is going to take them through the portal. 1 year certified business credit advisory support. That's major. They're making sure they have an advisor that's going to be able to manage their business, right? Fixed damage business credit. Sometimes, just like personal credit, a person's business credit could be damaged for inaccuracies, right? Their name could be wrong. The debt amount could be wrong that's being reported, right? The balance that was supposed to be paid off could be inaccurate. So you might need that your business credit to be disputed, just like your personal credit. That's a part of their suite. That's powerful. So you may have a client that already says, well, I already have business credit. Okay, no problem. Well, you still want to make sure you got good personal advisors. If anything damage is going on, this product actually helps make sure. Have you ever had an issue with, I had this one account, they said, we didn't pay it off, or, we had a late payment on it, but we didn't. That's disputable. This is where that will come into play at, all right? Access to a large database of lending sources. So when a person get our business credit suite product, they get access to all the lenders that's inside the portal. That's invaluable. Sometimes people are just fishing online to try to just click the link and figure out who's going to be able to fund them. Or what most people do, typically, they'll go to their bank. They'll go to their bank, and then based on that institution's criteria, they may not qualify for the type of money that they want from their particular bank. There's no need to take it personal. Every lender just have different criteria. So if your business model don't fit their funding criteria, then they can't fund you. It's just that simple. But that's limited reach. You follow me? Inside of the database for the business credit suite is a larger pool of lenders. So now each business that actually comes through our portal has more access to more lenders with different criteria. You follow me? So now a lender can be identified once the client fills out the application, right? And they want to look at what type of funding source they're going to need. Now you got different lenders saying, hey, listen, I'll take that type of business. That's not a high risk for us because we got the underwriting to be able to satisfy that. We'll fund that business. But that client might not be able to get that same response at their bank because of their criteria, but a different lender in our database may be able to give them an interest rate and, you know, sell them the money at a rate and in a term that's feasible for them. That's powerful, right? So make sure you understand that and explain that. They get a free DUNS number. That Dun and Bradstreet number is necessary because, again, that shows an entity for them, and we make sure they get that. They get their Dun and Bradstreet credit profile, right? They get that activated so they can actually log in and see their scores. They can see all the business trade lines that's on their report. They can see to make sure the reporting is done accurately. Just like you got a personal credit monitor, you need a business credit monitor, right? They got experience smart credit monitoring data, personal debt and budget tools. So the same personal budget tools that's inside the personal credit, they have access to that for the business side, for the debt elimination, and make sure they use the smart credit to be able to build their scores up, right? Secure cash funding within 60 days or less. So this is telling them once you go through our process, you give us about 2 to 3 months and we can actually take you to the bank, which is the same thing I was saying with the $50,000 funding guarantee. If a person is able to go through the steps, the biggest thing I could tell for any client is make sure they understand this is a process. Are you committed to the process, right? And if you get your clients committed to a process, then you just take them through the process. The beautiful part about this is once you enroll a client inside the business credit suite product, you as an affiliate are hands off, because the customer service side and the financial advisors are the ones taking your client through those processes. And that's all. And it's just customer service for you to stay connected, to make sure they're enjoying it. And I like to ask the clients, right, what did they learn? You know, how are their business progressing? You know, how do you feel about it, right? So ask them about their experience. But the servicing of it, you don't have to do it. It's already automated inside of their suite, guys. That's powerful, right? So they got access to business credit cards. Now they actually going to the bank. They're getting them. This is how this stuff works. Now they getting some money. They get some credit cards. They getting approved for the net 30 accounts real quickly. They getting those approvals like they need to keep building that vendor credit through the process. They got revolving accounts like Target, Apple, and more, right? Auto financing with no personal guarantee. God, that's big. The no PG part is one of my favorite parts of business credit. So what does that mean? No more personal guarantor, which means as a person, as we said up in the article initially, it's a difference between business credit and personal credit. But if you have a business that's under for 2 different reasons, I'm gonna give you an example. Write this down. Why is a personal guarantor needed? Let's make sure this is crystal clear. A personal guarantor is needed for 2 reasons. Number one, if that business is under 24 months old from the time of the corporate docs, from the time the articles of organization was created, the LLC, the S Corp, the C Corp, from the time it was actually created to be an entity corporation, is under 24 months. At that point, a person has to sign and adjust as leverage for the business, because the business doesn't have any credibility, right? It hasn't been in business long enough. So a personal guarantor has to sign who has credit history that's longer in order for the business now as a new business. Doesn't matter how much revenue. Oh, my business did $1 million. Oh, it did 500,000. Oh, we made 300,000 2 months, 2 years in a row. That does not matter, ladies and gentlemen. This is just respecting the game, right? How does this game work? This game works like this. If your business is under 24 months, it's considered a startup business, right? A startup business needs a personal guarantor to sign for it, to take the leverage from the personal and put it on the business, right? For the business to get the approval, period. That's how that works. Now this is the beautiful part of it. The person signed for the business, but the actual line of credit is put on the business. It's not put on a personal credit report. It goes on the Dun and Bradstreet side. So that EIN number is what's going to be registered to the business. The line of credit shows up on the business. Now, i.e., put this in your notes. The person is responsible for defaults for less than for 12 months. That's what a lender gets his feel good from, because if that business defaults, because they're still considered a small business, it's like signing for a student loan for your child. If your child don't go to class, you still got to pay that student loan. Does that make sense? The personal guarantor is the same way. If that business defaults within 12 months, it's still going to fall. And sometimes lenders will go past 12 months. It all depends on their criteria. But the rule of thumb is 12 months. Then that debt default falls on the person who took the credibility, who took the leverage for the business, right? Does that make sense, guys? Put a 7 in the chat if that makes sense for you. That's step number 1. Step number 2, or phase 2, if a business needs a personal guarantor, is if the business never built no business credit. The business could be around for 5 years. There's so many businesses in the country right now that don't have it done in Bradstreet. They've never set up a monitoring service. They've been in business for years and they never took the time, as most entrepreneurs do, slow down to speed up. Is what I call it. Slow down. Stop being so over ambitious that you are missing the valuable steps of how to have a successful company. You can't build a successful company on ambition and talent. I promise you, there's a lot of talented business owners that fail. Hello. It's because they never respected the business. The business is a whole person by itself. Respect the business, ladies and gentlemen. Most people still have to sign for their business after 2 years because they never built the business credit. They didn't go through the steps that we're talking about right now to build the vendor credit, the credit cards, the loans. So now the business can keep getting funded without the person. Hello. This is how this works. So I want to make sure you guys got free game to really understand this. I don't want you just to sell a product. I want you to understand it, right? And so if you understand it, then you use it for yourself. So make sure you don't fall into that rabbit hole. But then also when you're serving it to your client, you can say, listen, this is where I started. This is where I'm at. Man, that's a powerful thing. This is where I started. This is where I'm at, right? This is what I've been learning. And even if you're not complete, say, look, this is what I've been learning through the process as I've been using this for myself. Because you need to get your family in position, right? When you on an airplane, right? The first thing they say, if this plane go down, right? Put on your own oxygen, right? Save yourself first. If you in business, we have the ambition and we have the love to service a lot of people, but make sure you save yourself first. Secure your legacy. Make sure you put that oxygen mask on yourself to make sure that your family can breathe and you can understand how this stuff works as you're servicing. You're going to service people with a lot more passion and clarity once you've been through the experience, Fonz. You know, if that makes sense to you. So that's how that's going to go. So this is the value. So when we talking about what's the value of a person coming through extreme business credit, guys, I need you to understand all the value that's inside of that. Now let's talk about the money for the product, right? I'm gonna scroll down. Let's talk about the money. So when a person actually signs up for this product, right, they pay $24.95 for the product. They get a $500 commission as an affiliate up front, right? That's the upfront cash. This is where we share with the affiliates. If you market this product, you get $500 up front. And if you have a organization, right, then you actually get $50 down 3 generations throughout your personal lineage. That's how that works. Just like the fast start bonuses, this is the fintech fast start bonuses. But this has an inside financing component that we do inside the company that a person can pay for this for 3 months or 6 months on our payment plan, and they pay a little more for in-house financing, right? But they get access to their product after the second payment under the 3 installments, and after the third payment, right? Under the second payment and the fourth payment, after the fourth payment for 6 months, and after the second payment for 3 months. So let's pause. So why do we not give access to the product until a client has paid for a substantial amount of the product itself? Is because once we send them the file, we can't unsend it. You said once we start the process, we can't stop the process, right? Unless we stop it on the back end with the servicing provider, right? But we don't want to do that. So we don't want to even send it out until the bulk of the product has been paid for, truthfully said. And because it's business at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, right? So we got to protect the house at all costs. Now, what happens with the commission? The commission is broken down in even proportions. So the affiliate still get the same amount of commission, whether it's 3 months or 6 months, you make the same amount of money and you make the same amount of volume. Nothing changes under the business credit of how that's broken down. Is all fair, right? Now, the second business credit product we have is the DIY. The DIY is just a file, right? The DIY is a person wants to do it themselves, right? They want to do it themselves. What happens of it is they pay $12.49, right? The affiliate makes $200 in commission up front for the product, and then it's 3 generations of $10 and 100 PV. Or they can break it down under the installments. Again, so after the 3rd or 4th installment, they'll actually get access to the file, and then they're ready to go, right? So that's valuable and important for people to go through the business credit, because then it opens them up for the funding on instant decision. So once they go through that process, now they can go through that portal and get access to all of those lenders that we were discussing in that database, and they get instant decision on the personal loans and the business loans. They're in position now. This is how this works. So it's a system to this process, ladies and gentlemen, that we're taking people through. All right, so I'm going to unshare this for a minute because I want to share one more thing with you, right? We right at 12 o'clock. That's what I'm talking about. I want to share. I'm actually going to pull up the company's website. Let me slide this over here to this screen. Let me enlarge this here. And now let me share. Okay. All right. So to wrap this up, because the slides is for the presentation, obviously, right now, just, I'm presenting that particular presentation 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They're going to get a high level of me in that deal. If you've been on one of my presentations, man, put a 7 in the chat. If you've been in one of my presentations on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday thus far, put a 7 in the chat, man. And the reason why, the password to get inside the chat is 7 times, because obviously 7 is a universal number of completion. My whole goal is we push this together, that, me stepping on the front line on behalf of the founders to be able to help the company go to the next level in the fintech space, is that you can leverage my education, my knowledge, my experience in the field, right? And be able to put your guests in front of that. So the same level of expertise that you're getting from me now in an in-house training, this is just for the common unity. This is not for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. This is for the common unity. But we want to take this information abroad to the nation and to the masses. So this is why we decided, right, as a company, do the fintech opportunity call, because the information is so valuable, but we need people on the outside to get it. Does that make sense? And so this call is open. So I'll do that presentation Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 o'clock. And that password is 7 times, right? Because our goal is to complete that 7 steps of the ascending ladder, to take a person from a starting point of understanding how to tap into the Forex market and make money every day, all the way up to the point where they have a trust, where they actually can secure their wealth for their family. So those 7s are each step. That's what that is. The 7 steps of the ascending ladder. And every step, I want to take a person up that step to make sure that they understand the power of wealth and the power how to leverage this system, because all this is leverage. You follow me? Don't ever think you ain't good enough, you ain't smart enough, right, to do this. Listen, everybody on this call, you're good enough, you're smart enough, and you have the access to the knowledge. The only thing of it is that you have to execute what you learn. Be disciplined enough to execute what you learn. If you have that in your body, you can secure whatever you want in your life. But you got to be disciplined enough, and you got to execute what you learn. And write this down. Make excuses. Don't make excuses. Make money. Don't make excuses. Make money. You got to change the paradigm of how you see money and value. You can't make excuses on your future for your family. If you got a coach and a mentor that's going to give you every step along the way, you can't make excuses. You just got to make money. So how do you say to your mentor, I appreciate what you've done for me, what you share for me? Is by the results. Every coach loves to see a student or a protege execute what they taught. It's a feel good. It makes you feel good on the inside that you share something with somebody and they actually got a benefit in their life, and it's of no monetary value to your coach or to your mentor. The benefit is the fact that your life improved. That's the benefit. So all great coaches want to see great mentees and proteges go to the next level. That's how iron sharpen iron, each one teach one, guys. So make sure if you want to get this information to your guests, get them on that call. So when you go and you want to service this product, right? And you go to the website, if you're going to show a person everything I showed you from the outside, go to the website, go to business credit, right? When we go to business credit, when we scroll down, hold on, it didn't open it for me. My internet moving slow. Come on, we about to wrap up this call. I want to show you. It might not pull it for me. Here we go. It ain't click it the way I wanted to do it. All right, so business credit, there you go. Now you're gonna do it. All right, anyway, if it pull it up, I'll pull it back. But you see on the site, when you hit business credit and you scroll down, right? When you click the tab that says business credit, it's gonna pull it up and it's gonna show them those same values that I was just showing you guys, right? It's gonna show you that. Then you got the opportunity. I'm gonna try to do it again because I really want to share that with you. All right, so it's going to show that client all the value that I was just showing you. And so they got an opportunity now to be able to see it. And then you can just speak to the slide. Just speak to the screen. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do anything more than that. You just speak to what you see on the screen. and just allow that information to be able to be of use to your client. And at the end of it, when they want to sign up, just click the button to get started, add it to the shopping cart, and guys, it's going to close it out. It's just that simple. So let me see if I can pull it up again before I share it, because I want to walk you through the closes out or what it looks like in real time. If it gives me an opportunity to do it, I'm going to do it. If it doesn't, okay. Look at it. It did it for me. Sometimes you just got to try again. Okay. Perfect. All right. You guys can see my screen now, right? So here we are. So business credit. So you can click the video, like we said before, make sure when you actually present this information, click the video. The video is the credibility exchange. You want to make sure you watch the video with the client because you set the appointment with the client to be able to share this with them, but you don't have to be the expert. You want to keep it simple and duplicatable at all times. So you click the video and watch the video with the client, and then it's going to bring back up all this access that's available to them, right? Qualify for the EIN number. And here's that same 11,000. This is what I wanted to end with to show you guys how this works. So I'm glad it pulled it back up. Everything I showed you in the breakdown, you have the same thing right here. So don't think you got to wait to the opportunity call to be able to show a person the value in it. Just make sure you understand how to speak toward these and how the client is actually going to be able to get the value. We got a demo up here where they actually can click this. And it actually can show them exactly what it's going to look like from the inside. When a person is investing $2,400 with you, they need to see something to make that decision, right, of how this system is going to work. Because for most people, they don't even understand it anyway. So watching the video is imperative. One is 2 or 3 minutes. This one is 7 minutes. Let them intake that information, right, and watch it with them. Don't be in a rush, because finance is all about relationship. It's not about being a good talker or a fast talker. It's about creating a connection with a person to be able to show them how to go up in their life and be profitable and productive for their life. Does that make sense? So slow down for a second, watch the videos with them, and then move them forward. Then they can purchase the product right now and get started, or if they're going to do the no money down, when they click that button is connected to the personal credit, right, with a personal loan. So they decide they want to try to do the no money down and they want to get a loan to be able to pay for their $24.95. That's what that button is for, ladies and gentlemen. They can apply, try to get an instant decision. They might get 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is. Now they have the funds to pay for the product. So that's no money down. They can just make payments when they loan, right? You guys follow me there? So this is the DIY product at the bottom. If they decide they want to do DIY, they could do that, right? Or the no money down. And that's just a file they just sent to them on the email. And now they got all the information. Okay. So this is the product, ladies and gentlemen, how to find it. So now you guys know exactly what it looks like when you're going through it in real time. The biggest thing is to be able to watch the videos. Okay. All right. So that is everything that I have for you today for FinTech Tuesday for the day, guys. If that was of value to you guys, just put value in the chat. Man, if you feel like that information could be of help for you and of use to you to be able to take you to the next level, guys, this call is a setup to be able to help get you equipped, right, to be able to go to the marketplace. Go to the market and shake the bushes. You follow me? If you put in the work to learn it and understand it, right, then talking to people about it is no problem, right? It's no problem, because you're a product of the product and you're in an academy that's all about knowledge. It's all about information, right? And so at the end of the day, it's there for you to be in a position to grow. Let's make sure that you actually utilizing this information to the best of your abilities. It's your boy, Agent Dynamite, on the Living Legend. Y'all know my saying, somebody got to pay the price up front in full with no discount. Let that person be you. God, I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. As Mr. Mickle would say, man, we just going to keep pushing to give you guys more value. Looking forward to more signups today. I'm going to be asking Mr. Mickle how many more people actually, enrolled today from this call, right? Whoever enrolled, I'm looking for that, because we want to make sure we help in pushing the initiative. Atlanta's coming up. Make sure you guys get to Atlanta. Mr. Mickle and the team down there have a lot of stuff to be able to share with the Atlanta team. And so guys, just get in the place where you're going to be in Atlanta on the 13th, where you're going to be in Philly on the 20th, guys. Be in the place, right? But the whole thing is with growing. You have to grow. You have to be in the environment to be able to cultivate this knowledge, right? And get it in you so it comes out of you. So peace and blessings, guys. I love you guys. And I'll catch you guys on my call next week or tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I'll be live on the wire, man. Let's make sure we pack out the opportunity calls today. Let's go help some people, guys. Y'all have a great day. Peace and blessings.